afternoon. Thank you. Welcome everyone. Thank you. Thank you everyone. Okay. Again, I talk briefly about the Dharma. Dharma, according to my capabilities, and share some about the Dharma. Dharma, and again, in order to kind of follow the Dharma or listen to the Dharma always in the teaching mentioned, and as well as all the great masters to correct the motivations, activating motivation. So this time we are also going to activate our beautiful motivation of the joy and the appreciations and the bodhicitta and the Vajrayana teachings of the three Vajra states, or five perfection status. Those are the motivations are always necessary and important and the foundation of the practices. And with that beautiful motivation, now we followed again the teachings. As we've been talking about the life, as great master, his Holiness Dongyal Rinpoche, or Dongyal Rinpoche, taught one of his teachings, heart instructions, or pointing out the teachings, very simple way, direct way, how we can put entirely teaching as like simple practices. Some practices so that it can benefit to ourselves and some really also benefit for the other beings. And so in that teaching, as we follow it, and it said, first we have to try to take the whole goal of the practice is to really make meaning for our this very life, that we have this life. This life is so precious, and therefore we have to really make this something meaningful. And that again, Buddha said, all the great masters said, with many examples said, with the example how it is so important. For example, great master Nagarjuna said what? Said, some individually has beautiful solid golden bowl. But if that golden bowl, that individuals are using as garbage can, or if I use that word, garbage can, what people will think that? Almost everyone think, oh, how foolish. It's not wise, not smart. Why that individual use that such a beautiful golden bowl, solid golden bowl, for using as garbage cans, or something kind of like unnecessary activities. People will say that it's not really kind of wise way to do. But he said in the teaching, this is the more unwise. If we spoil this precious lives, it's more precious than the golden bowl, solid golden bowl. If we waste that, if we despise that. So that means what we have to do. We have to line up to our inner good qualities, or Buddha nature. Something do good with kindness, compassion, love, and wisdom, combined together some activities. And when we start to do that, that is known as then practicing Dharma. That means practicing Dharma is not something that we have to follow the regimented kind of rules and guidelines outside that we have to impose to our own self. Practicing Dharma is to apply, revealing our goodness, our inherent richness or treasure that we maybe kind of ignore so many times, kind of not really look to that. That which is revealing. We reveal that beautiful qualities. If we reveal that beautiful qualities, or those beautiful qualities, then we're talking here, as Dudjom said, we're taking the advantage of these beautiful, precious human bodies. And if we do that, what? It's going to benefit to ourselves, benefit to all the beings, directly, indirectly. And therefore, that's what we talk. In order to do that, as simple manual or the guideline or the teachings taught, always reflecting the poor thoughts or poor renunciation thoughts. that I'm using different terminology, but you all know purport, precious life, our precious body, life is difficult to obtain, that reflect on that meaning, and then impermanent, cause and effect are inevitable, and the samsara has always challenges. Those are the 4 points. These 4 points are also simple, direct nature, way things are. It's not just Buddha said and then kind of we follow it. But this is the reality. This is the fact. We are in that status. Whether we believe or whether we don't believe, or whether we pronounce that, whether we don't pronounce it, that doesn't change. Nobody can say life is not precious. Nobody can say it is not impermanent. Nobody can say cause and effect are inevitable. Nobody can say samsara has no difficulty. That's it. That's simple. That's direct. That's it is. So we reflect in the way things are true, exactly as it is. When we do that, what it does, I said so many times, and you know, we heard from the teachers and they read in the books. It will make our heart more soft, more tender, more calmer, more kind of cooperatives, more respect and appreciative to each others. Really, it will make more gentle, more peaceful, more practical, and more friendships. We can see the value and importance of our friend, our family members. And we kind of not kind of hanging solid in kind of like a self-regiment attitudes. Those all are softened by reflecting the truth exactly as is true. So, therefore, we're talking about now this, among those 4 points, we're talking about this third one, cause and effect are inevitable. I mentioned again a few times, I think, and you all know. So now I'm not going to repeat too many other things, but what is in the Buddha's teaching, there is what's called the virtues and guidelines that if we kind of against it or we break, then it become unvirtuous if we break that. And those guidelines, again, as I said the other day, nothing but to bring more ourselves more calm, peaceful, gentle, more simpler, more cooperative, more respect and appreciation to ourselves, respect to the others, or self-respect, respect to the others. That is really this all guidelines. Simple, easy, it's something so nice, it's harmonized, it's blended exactly with nature as is and how it should be. How it should be our life. Our life should not be complicated according to the teaching. More simple, more calmer, more peaceful. Because if we are more, our life is more like simple and calmer, what it brings? It brings more peaceful, more calm, more friendships. That all bring. Our life has become more kind of a communication and not friendship and kind of like challenge all the time, clashing all the time. Even we call in the samsara fulfillment, but it's add-on, it's practical. According to Buddhism or Dharma, it is. So therefore, it is. These all guidelines are so good, it will benefit and help, support that situation, those things. So now when I talk these things, and what we're talking about, in the Buddhism, there's what called 3 vows. The Patimoksha or the Vinaya vows, and Bodhisattva vows, and Vajrayana vows. So among that 3, we went first 2. Now I talk really again this last one. Last one is the Vajrayana vows. Vajrayana vows has a number of vows or the guidelines according to different tantras. And what that means, different tantra means there is at least six different tantras. Those are 3 outer tantras and 3 inner tantras. And so each of those again has different guidelines and that. But however, to summarize that, or more general, what was explained by the great masters, and said 5 vows of the 5 Dhyana Buddhas and 14 downfalls and 8 big ones. And so I have talked briefly about these 5 vows of the 5 Dhyana Buddhas. And among that, first one is the Tathagata vows of Tathagatas. Or I used another word, the Samayas of the Tathagata Buddhas. And that Samayas of the Tathagata Buddha is now is taking refuge, or vows of the refuge, as well as 3 moralities. 3 morality vows. And we have, together with that, bodhicitta vows, such as the vows of the wishing bodhicitta and actualizing bodhicittas. Those are the vows of the Tathagata Buddhas. The second is vows of the Vajra families. Vajra family vows or the Samaya is, in the teaching says, always keep the bell and the Dorje, or the Vajra and bell, or which is, of course, many of you know that. This is called Dorje in Tibet, and this is known as Trivo. And so always in the teaching said, keep the Vajra and the Dorje. What actually that really means? Dorje representing of the skillful means, and the Trivo or the bell representing the wisdom. So always keep the skillful means, wisdom, never separated. Compassion, wisdoms are combined. Skillful means compassion. Compassion and wisdom united together all the time. Every aspect of the Vajrayana teaching actually really known as skillful means and Vajrayana, skillful means and wisdoms. And then along with that, one who shows those clearly of those, what is skillful means, what is wisdom, that is the teacher. So respect, listen, following the qualified teacher's instructions. One who tells clearly about the skillful means and the wisdoms. So that is the principal vows of the Vajra families. The third one is vows of the Rena families. Rena family vows are, in the teaching said, always give the 4 generosities. Always do the 4 kinds of generosity practices or generosities. Sharing is openly sharing according to your capabilities and readiness of others. What are those 3? First one is generous of the materials. Material generosity practices as much as you can. Second is generosity practice of the teachings, words of wisdoms. All those wisdoms, teachings. And the third is generosity of the protections, support, help, open the arm, open the heart, support if you can, according to your capabilities and according to needed of others, always make that open. And then fourth generosity is the foundation, is based upon all the first 3 generosities, which is always great generosity of love, kindness, When we do the generosity of the material, or whether you use it word, the wisdom or teachings, or protection or the support, always with the love, always with the kindness, compassion, politeness. That is what is known as poor generousness. That is principal vows of the Renna families, or Samayas of the Renna families. And the fourth one is vows of the Pema families, Samaya. And the Pema family vows are in the teachings, always keep the teaching as your heart. Teaching as your heart. What that means, what the teachings? Say the teachings of the outer, inner, and the secret teachings. Outer teachings such as teachings of the Charvakayana, Partibuddhayana, and Bodhisattvayanas. Inner teachings are such as Kriya Yoga teachings, Upa Yoga teachings, and Yoga Yana teachings. Those teachings. And then in a secret level, teachings of the Mahayoga, teachings of the Anu Yoga, and teachings of the Ati Yogas. Keep their teachings as your heart. Keep into the heart. Keep as your life. And that is the principle, a kind of symbol, principle vows of the Penma families. The fifth one is vows of all those, or fifth vow is vows of the karma families. Karma actually what means karma? Action, activity, action. So keep all the vows of the everything what mentioned. The Tathagata family, and the Vajra family, Renna family, Pema family, keep the all, and then Karma family vow, keep all those vows, hold those with your activities of the body, activities of the speech, activity of the mind, keep those vows. Together keep up all your commitment, what you committed, what you said, I will do. In front of the teacher, or in front of the shrine, or whatever, your commitment, such as sessions, morning sessions, afternoon sessions, evening sessions, or such as rituals, Tolma offerings, Yagya offerings, whatever you committed to keeping up those. Those are known as the vows of the karma families. So those are the 5 Dhyan Buddhas, principal vows of the 5 Dhyan Buddhas. And then 14 Dom poles. And add big ones. And I'm not going to go all through those things. You can look those easily into different books. I'm not going there. But those are known as the vows or the samayas of the Vajrayana teachings. And Vajrayana teaching, many times, people think, oh, this kind of Vajrayana teaching is like, there is nothing much to do. That is not really true. Vajrayana teaching is more compacted. Vajrayana vows more compacted. And Vajrayana vows is more encompassing. Not more. It encompasses entirely Buddha teaching vows. For example, in the morality what we're talking, at the very beginning, 3 moralities, what we said. The vows of Tathagata family, Buddha family vows. Morality, first we're talking about what in the teaching said. What is vow that says? The avoiding all the negative vows of the avoiding all the negativities. That summarizes entirely Vinaya vows. That summarizes. And then in the second one, that's morality, what it said. And perform, or third, performing all the benefit activity for all the sentient beings. That encompasses entirely Bodhisattva vows, Mahayana Bodhisattva vows. Benefiting for all the sentient beings by your compassion, your loving kindness. I mean, Vajrayana, it's really incompact, so, because many people think that all Vajrayana teaching is so easy, kind of, there's nothing to do then, I mean, it's kind of like casual, and just all that. Those are said in the teaching. Who can do that? Those are the very high capability practitioners. What in the teaching we often use examples of the King Indra Buddhist. King Indra Buddha, he can do it. He and his highly capable practitioner, he don't have to give up, or that individual is those who don't have to give anything, don't do anything, as it is. Use that. But to do that, they have to have realization. Seeing everything is a display of the wisdom, primordial wisdoms. Seeing exactly three Vajra states as it is, not talking, not kind of practicing, not presuming, not intellectualizing, not just a kind of conceptualizing. Truly see exactly as it is, as a Guru Padma Samye. For example, those individuals, for example, so those great yogi or great mahasiddhas drinks all the alcohols, consume the alcohols. But for them, alcohol is not alcohol as we, intoxicated, lost mindfulness. For them is wisdoms. Drink wisdom nectars. Or playing the game with the wisdom goddess, Mamakis. Playing is completely different. Vision. Seeing different. Those great yogis, those who drunk so many gallons of the alcohol, consumed all, there's no history, they are drunk. They did mixing up so many things. All completely transcendented as wisdom nectars, nourished, aspired, expanded, or accelerated of their realization and understandings. So that is really how it is. So therefore, and for that reason, what always in the teaching said, thinking of the Vajrayana and doing something like kind of everything is okay, then we kind of could really lose the ground. We could lose. For that reason, ordinary practitioner should not imitate the bodhisattva activities. Bodhisattvas are regular bodhisattvas should not imitating of the Buddha activity, should not imitate. Should stay where they are, read their capabilities, read their mind, judge their emotions, judge their grasping and clingings. And if they don't have grasping, they don't have emotions, then we can do. But otherwise, we should follow according to our capability. Otherwise, according to teaching, it will really create more hindrance and obstacles. Or then it's known as breaking the samaya or losing the vows, so forth, all those, and then numbers of negatives kind of develop, become the obstacles. And for those reasons, what is known as, always in the teaching say, the doors of the obstacles, or doors of the negatives, or doors of the breaking the vows. What are those? There's 4 things. I just have listed that. And of course you will know that. You all know that. And those 4 are, first is not recognizing. So that means, first is, maybe I shouldn't say, first is ignorance. First is ignorance. And the second is disrespectful. And the third is carelessness. Fourth is too much emotions. Those four are the cause that we can do the mistakes. First is unknowing, or the ignorant I said, but unknowing. Unknowing. Of course, if we don't know what is guideline, what is not guideline, what is negative, what is not negative, if we don't know, then we can do things. That is a foundation there. But once we know what is good, one is bad, what is good and what is bad, or what is positive, what is negative, then if we did the negativities, what are those? That could be disrespectful, or that could be careless, or that could be power of the emotions, our emotions. That could be. Then it becomes disturbances. So these vows, generally, how Buddha used the names, those vows, are as like what called the blockage of the, what's called this name? Levee. Dam or levee. These vows are the dam or the levee of blocking the flooding water if coming. All the way, so much waters are coming to you. Worldly, we're trying to block and put the walls. These vows are like walls to block it. The habit pattern is going to invade us. These vows are what these levities are. These levities are actually mindfulness, alertness, consciousness. This is what these the vows are, or this levity, or this blockage of the habit pattern of the river of the habit pattern, well invaded to our mind streams, or invaded to our body, our speech, and our mind. So, what that levity is as I said, is mindfulness, is alertness, it is consciousness. So, therefore, this is so special. So, this is how we can spoil. How can spoil that? Even we know that we can spoil, then we did disrespectful. And that could be as like kind of like negative emotions, or whatever, or the stubbornness, or arrogance, and some degree we kind of, or some degree, or that never mind attitude and all that is deep down is disrespectful, not so keen on that. And then second is the carelessness, or third is carelessness, and the fourth is too much power of the emotions. Then it happened. But once those happen, then what is good? Then it becomes the negativities. Once you see that happen, then it's always in the teaching say, purify that. Negative has no good qualities, but one is the best quality is if we really work for that, we can purify that. We can clean away that. To purify, there is that many methods throughout the Buddha teaching mentions. And such as in Vinaya teaching, also there is many purification methods. And Bodhisattva Sutra Mahayana, such as also doing the practices of the 35 Buddhas, or with the post-stations, and kind of a highlight of those in whatever the negative happened, whatever you're in the memories, highlighted those and mental state on the presence of the Buddhas and Bodhisattva, or 35 Buddhas, chanting those prayers, and dedicating that merit for all the living beings. Those are known as the purification of the systems of the Sutra Mahayana. Then our meditation, our meditative activity, all will purify actually that. And Vajrayana teaching, among the most powerful one is then such as to do the Vajrasattva practices. that we all receive the teachings and instruction, so that in that will clear way, can smooth and purify and all that, and there is nothing, no negativity that cannot purify the power of the antidote or the power of the meditation practices. And that's always in the teaching said, such as, for example, like Angulimala, who killed so many people. According in the teaching, so they killed 9 individuals. That according to instructions of the kind of his negative teachers, that he did that. But once he got understood, and once he met the Buddha, and he really understood that how terrible things that he did through his power and courage and commitment, he purified all that negativities, and he became arhat. That not that this negativity is purified in a kind of so many lifetimes. Within that, it's like a single lifetimes. He purified, according to he become arhat. So this is the example. There are so many stories that those negatives many people individually did, but once they realized that really pushed them so strongly, pushed the board of the great courage and commitment and confidence and practicing Dharma and purified, become great masters, great masters, and really great, like accomplished masters that happened. So this is how it is. Therefore, purifying the negativity is so important. And now I'm going to summarize that. And now all these negativities and positives is nothing but is display of the mind. It's all come from mind. Positive mind developed the positive, all the virtues or good things, and negative mind developed all these negativities and unvirtuous activities. And therefore, always thoughtful our activities. More thoughtful, more careful with mindfulness, alertness. Mindfulness and alertness and consciousness or thoughtful is really as the great masters, teacher, standing right with you when you have that. Is always supportive, always available, always with you. Therefore, then, when we have the mindfulness, we are in a good state. We are in a good directions. So that is really my talks about the cause and effect are inevitable. Again, cause and effect are inevitable. That we all know. They're not really going to change. The cause is the good cause cannot bring the bad result. Bad cause cannot bring good result. That's it. They're not going to mix. And that is the same thing as externally when we look to the seed. Seed and all these things. All things in the world, what things comes. Always it follows of that. So that is my brief talk of among the 4 renunciations, and this, the third one, cause and effects are inevitable. Okay, I'm going to stop here. Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone, and for coming and participating. Thank you.